Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Rachel Klein and I will be your presenter here for the next 20 minutes. Today we are going to be talking about giving accounts in the donations module. So we're gonna go over how to add an account, manage the accounting screen or manage the account screen, and then also ordering the giving accounts. And we're also going to look at subtotals. Today's information does come from one of our workbooks. It comes from our D101 workbook, so that's Donations 101, and it's pages 26 through 36. So if you have that workbook and you want to follow along, please feel free to do that. If you don't have that workbook, but you are interested in purchasing that workbook, you can do so on our website. So out at churchwindows.com, up at the top under beginning here, go down to training workbooks, and all of our workbooks will be listed here, available for purchase. For $12, you can get a downloadable version where you would download it and then print it off yourself. For $22, you would get a pre-printed binder-ready format that we would actually mail to you. Again, it's optional. We have these available. As always, though, I am recording this webinar, so it will be available out on our website here under supporting at our support center. You can rewatch this at any time. If you'd like to share this information with someone from today's webinar, if they couldn't view it live, they can always come out to our support center. And this screen is great. You can search by a specific category, or our most recent events or new documents are always going to be in date order. So the most recent one's going to be up here, and as we add more things, we'll shift lower in the list. But make sure you check out our support center. It's a really, really great tool for a lot of free information as well. All right, let me minimize this. On your GoToWebinar toolbar, there is a place for you to ask questions. So everyone will remain muted, but please feel free to type in any questions you might have. I am the only person in here today from Church Windows. So there's a lot of you and there's only one of me. We are really busy on calls today, so I didn't want to pull anybody else off for the webinar. So if you do have a question, please type those in. Just keep in mind that I'm not going to get to those until the end of the webinar. If I try to read a question while I'm presenting, I get myself all mixed up. So I actually have that section minimized so I can't see it. And then I will look at it after I'm done covering the topic, and then we can go over questions there. Okay? All right, let's get started. Again, I'm in workbook D101, and we're starting on page 26. So today we're talking about giving accounts in Church Windows. So giving accounts are a way for people who want to donate or contribute to your church. They can categorize what areas they want their money to go to. Now, if you are new to Church Windows, this is where you would kind of take some time to think about what different funds or categories people are going to be able to give to within your church. So let me go ahead and pull up the Manage Account screen. So you can get to that one of two ways. Right here in the middle of the screen, you can hit Manage Accounts, or you can come up here to Accounts and Pledges and then go to Manage Accounts. Doesn't matter which way you click to get to it, it's going to take you to the same screen. And I want to go over a couple key things about this screen first. So any of those funds or giving accounts that have been decided as different categories for people to give to, you're going to have to enter those into the software. And then those different accounts will be selected when the donation is entered. Okay, so as you can see here in my giving accounts, all of the different funds that I have set up for people to be able to give to are going to be listed over here on the left. You can scroll through the list. There is a search box up here. Some people I talk to have a bunch of different giving accounts, so it is beneficial to utilize this search box if you have a specific account you're looking for. In that search box, you can type in an ID or you can type in the actual giving account name. However you prefer to get to that account, you can do so here in the search. And then as well, you can use the scroll bar. A handy feature that we have in Church Windows that I think a lot of people I talk to aren't aware of is you can always click on the column headers to do a sort. So if I click on the column header for ID, it's going to quickly sort all my giving accounts in ID order. Or I can click on my account name column header, and then as you can see, it's then going to sort my giving accounts in name order, alpha order. So it's really up to you how you like to utilize or sort for different accounts on the screen. I like it in ID order, but again, it's up to you. Now, IDs, these are characters over here you are going to use as an identification for the actual giving account itself. I want to let you know that IDs are optional. The system is not going to require you to use an ID for the different giving accounts that you have created. Now, with that being said, I do find it beneficial to use IDs as a way to organize your giving accounts. Okay, so a lot of people I talk to, if they have accounts that are of a similar nature, they will use the account type, say 100 through 109, and then 110 through 120. So it's a nice way for you to kind of keep those giving accounts organized if you choose. But again, you don't have to use an ID. It's really up to you and what you're comfortable with. Okay. Now on page 27, there is a lot more information if you are new to Church Windows. There's going to be a lot more detailed information for getting started and how to organize your giving accounts. I'm not going to go into that in depth today, just because I feel like most of you are probably used to using the software or already have your giving accounts entered. But if that's information you need, please refer to that on page 27 in our workbook. It is available for you. All right, so let's talk about adding a giving account. So this is the process you're going to use if you decide you have a new account that you want to put into donations. The example that I'm going to use is a wildfire relief account. I'm going to walk you through the process of how to set that up within donations, okay? So there's two places you can go to add a new account. If you're already in your giving accounts screen, right from here, you can hit the little green plus sign. That's going to allow you to add a giving account from here. If you don't have this screen open, up here under Accounts and Pledges, you have an Add Account button here. Those two buttons, as you can see, are going to take you to the exact same screen regardless of how you get to it. One of the benefits of coming through the giving account screen here and then coming up to the Add is that this screen first allows you to see what IDs are available. So you cannot create a new account that has the same ID as an existing account. So no two IDs can be the same. So it's kind of beneficial to come in here and scan through your IDs first, see what numbers are available, see where you want that new account to fit within the ID. Again, if you're using IDs. So I kind of like to tell people, come in here first, see what IDs are available, and then come in and do your add. Okay, so I'm going to hit the add button. I need to put in the ID that I'm going to use for my new account, and for our example, I'm going to use ID 888 because I know that ID is available, and then I'm going to go ahead and type in my account name. For whatever reason, I always want to spell relief wrong. There we go. So I'm going to put in my account name. Now, you have some more information here you can choose to fill out. If I hit the Show Detail, it's going to give me some more options or specifications for the actual giving account that I'm working with. So let's start here on the Details tab. Do I want this new account to print on my donation statement? If I do, I'm going to leave it checked. If for some reason you find that you don't want that giving account to show up on people's donation statements, simply uncheck that box and this account will no longer show on any donation statements you print. Is this giving tax deductible? You can say yes, no, unknown. If you choose yes, then the gifts to this account will show up in the tax deductible section on someone's donation statement. If you're putting a donation statement that breaks things down by tax deductible and non-tax deductible, which is a layout that we have available, if that's the case, if you choose no here, then this giving is going to be totaled separately. So any non-tax deductible giving will be totaled separately from the tax deductible giving. So that here is where you specify if it is tax deductible or not. Okay. For this example, I'm going to keep it on yes. Is it a pledge account? So do I want this account to be available for people to pledge to at some point? If I'm not sure, I would just say leave that box checked. If you know this will never be an account people pledge to, you can simply uncheck that box if you wish. You can also set a default frequency. So if this is a pledge account and people are only ever going to pledge weekly or monthly to this account, whichever it might be, you can specify that. That's just the default. You can still override it when you go to set up the campaign, but this allows you to set up a default for this specific account if you wish. Okay. Also, you have a place to put in comments. If you want to add some notes about this giving account, this is where you can do that. Okay. Now, if you are using our accounting module, this is where you can set up those accounting links. Now, if you're not familiar with the accounting module, you only do the donations module, you have no idea what the chart of accounts looks like in accounting, this is where you're going to need to talk to your person at the church who does your accounting module. They can also set up the account links on their accounting side. You don't have to specify it here, but if you know what the debit and credit account need to be for this new account, then you can go ahead and specify those here. But a lot of times if this is a brand new account you're setting up, whomever works over in accounting might need to set up a new credit account. Maybe you're going to set up a wildfire relief liability account over in accounting, but it hasn't been set up yet. So you don't have to set these at this moment. It can always be done later. Okay. Also, there's a prepaid credit account option. This is optional. If you need more information on prepaids, go back out to that support center. We have a great video on how to set up prepaids, but I'm not going to get into it today, but it is there if you need it. And that is how you would set up those accounting links for transferring money from this wildfire relief giving account over into your chart of accounts. Okay. Now, once that's all set up, you're going to hit Add Giving Account. Your screen's going to blank out, allowing you to add another one if you wish. If not, if that's the only one you needed, down here at the bottom, you're just going to hit OK. The screen's going to close. All right. So now back here on this list, you can see that we have our ID, 888, and then our account name. Now, let's say you decided you used the wrong ID. You want to go in and change it. Any screen here or any box here, you can simply click inside and you can change the ID to something else. So there's not a pencil or an edit button. You just simply click here on the grid and add or adjust the name as you see fit. Now, keep in mind, if you come in here and you change noodle making equipment to a completely different number, this is going to then change that number on all of your history as well. Okay, so there's not a start date or an end date, if you will, from when your ID for that account changes. So keep in mind, if you're going in and changing names, changing numbers, anytime you go run a report, say back in 2015, the new name and number is going to be reflected on that. Okay, so just be mindful of when you change things within the ID and the name. All right, I want to also touch on the detail tab here, over here on the right, the detail and the accounting links tab. These tabs are very similar to what you see when you first are entering a new giving account. But with that being said, it allows you to change this information on existing accounts. So if you decide that you have an account that you need to change, whether it prints on the statement, or if you are knowledgeable of the accounting links and you need to change an accounting link, you can then do that here as well. All right, let's touch on deleting and making accounts inactive, as there's a difference. So you have a delete button here. You also have an inactive button. If the giving account has no transactions, no activity on it at all, so this is not just for this year, this is for any previous years. If it has no transactions, you do have the ability to delete the giving account. If you find that you want to get rid of it, clean it up, you don't need it anymore, but it has a transaction history to it, you have to make it inactive. All right, so that will hide that account from default popping up on different reports. It won't show it by default on the enter donation screen. It will hide the account, but again, any transactions, delete will not work. You have to come up here and do inactive, okay? Also down here at the bottom left, you can click show inactive, and that will show you any accounts you might have had in the past. They will appear in red. Looks like we just have one. All right, let's touch on order accounts. This is a really helpful tool for entering donations. Let me change my giving distribution real quick here. So you can specify when you're entering donations what accounts you want to see appear first in the list. So this is really beneficial, especially like around the holidays. If you're doing a big push, like say we're trying to raise money for wildfire relief, you can change the order of the accounts as they appear in this section, okay? So what I'm going to show you is how to set the order of these. So I'm going to jump out of here. And we're going to come up here to accounts and pledges, and we're going to go to order accounts. So this window allows you to, again, set that order of the giving accounts when you're entering donations. So you can sort by name down here at the bottom. That's going to give you an alphabetic sort. You can sort by number, again with the IDs being the particular order. Or you can specify whatever order you want. Let's say we're pushing right now to raise money for the wildfire relief. I can select account, I can hit the up arrow, and I can jump this account up in the list so it's first. Okay. You can also do this at Christmas time, Easter. If you have different accounts that are going to be given to you more often at certain times of the year, you can come into this order giving accounts, and then you can adjust and shift them up higher in the list. So now that I have Wildfire Relief Fund first, I'm going to say okay. I'm going to come back into enter donations. Giver, say $2. And then now when I get down under account/pledge, you can see Wildfire Relief Fund is now my first one in the list. So you don't have to utilize this, but it's a really nice feature throughout the year if you need to shift what accounts are popping up at the top. All right. Now, last thing here we are going to discuss is the subtotals section of donations. So subtotals are only going to show on one report, right? And that specific report is the list account balances report. I'm going to print that first just so you can see what it looks like, and then we're going to make some changes, okay? So as you can see, the subtotals have been organized. So the giving accounts have been organized into different subtotals. And then it's going to give you a total based on how that's been organized, okay? And then also you have your total giving account money down here at the bottom. Now let's say you have some customizing that you want to do to your subtotals. You can definitely do that. Let me close here. We get out of list account balances, and we're going to go back up to accounts and pledges, and we're going to go to subtotals this time. So by default, when you first open up this screen, you're only going to have this one subtotal, this total giving accounts. Now you can come down here at the bottom and hit add new subtotal, and you can make as many new subtotals as you wish. So any way you need to group or organize those giving accounts. Excuse me, this is sample data, so these are just some different subtotals that we've created. Let's say we want to make a new one. I want to make a new one specifically for disaster relief. So I'm going to hit Add New Subtotal. I'm going to put in my name here. And then I can decide if I want to display a header. I will show you what that is when we go back to the report in a second here. And now as you see over here on the left, I have this new subtotal called Total Disaster Relief. Now I can move this up higher in the list. Right now it's going to be my last subtotal. Let's say I want to put it up here next to my in-out giving. Okay, I'll put it up here right between holiday giving and in-out. Now I can also, let's see, let me show you the accounts first. So right now we're just seeing subtotals. I'm going to hit Show Accounts and my screen's going to update. And what it's going to do now is show me with this little icon specifying what the giving accounts are. Okay, so if I minimize this, just so it's a little easier to see, it's a little overwhelming with everything showing. So right now in my total in-out giving, I have flood giving and I have tornado relief. Let's say I want to move these two accounts up under disaster relief. To do that, you can click and hold and drag and drop. Or you can select the accounts and then over here on the right, you can specify which subtotal you want it to go to and hit Move Account. Just depends on if you like to drag and drop or not. Some people don't like to drag and drop, so you have this option available. Same thing with our new wildfire relief. I'm going to pull that down and I'm going to put it in my disaster relief subtotal. Okay. Pretty straightforward there. Now you could also move a subtotal within a subtotal. Let's say I want to put total disaster relief into my total in-out giving. If that's the case, I would choose that, hit move subtotal, and now I have a subtotal within a subtotal. So it's kind of up to you how you want to organize this. Again, you have a lot of options for how you choose to do that. Let me close out of this, and I want to go show you now under Reports and Export, List Labels, List Account Balances. I want to now show you what our report looks like. So by adding that header, it's going to give me this name here. Again, Holiday Giving has a header. If I didn't check that Use a Header box, then you wouldn't have the bold italicized like this. You would just have your grand total here at the bottom for that subtotal. And as I scooch down here, you can see Total Disaster Relief. Obviously, this is sample data, so we don't have any money, but your totals then would be broken out per account, and then the subtotal would be listed here as well. And that is how you set up subtotals. So that is everything that I wanted to go over with you all today.